Alrighty. We're live on the air right now. Podcast with Dennis Lysenko.
The one, the only.
The one, the only. I'm really excited. We had the podcast with Nora on Sunday. Monday we had the two-part because Nora came all the way out from Washington and we recorded a song. So we're kind of quite in the podcast week. Let me turn on the chat and then see if you guys have anything to complain about already. No, chat likes to troll. My chat, I love it. I love you guys, you know that. But you can be pretty trolly. So we're not gonna get too much into the trolliness. We can kind of start off with Dennis asked me why did I make the podcast? You know, like why did I do it? Like one thing was like I had a radio show in college, and then during COVID, so I kind of just like was running all the radio. 3 radio shows. We had a country radio show, we had a commercial radio show, and then I had one that was a live show where we'd have a little like talk, and then the band would perform right after with like video. Okay. So that's sort of my background in that. And then during COVID, like I mean, LA, everything was so isolating. I was like, man, how can you build community during COVID? You know, how can you like, what kind of interactions can we have? And you have to be tested, you have to be this. So I was like, how can we keep up community and friendships and meet new people with this? And it's like a very limited way. It's like a one-on-one thing. You know, we're not like throwing like a little party here and we have like 5-6 people. So it's like a very nice way to meet people and also hear their stories. Because like everyone has a story to tell.
And I do think that when you're not in a one-on-one environment in person, you lose out on a lot of stuff. So I think that all the Zoom calls and all that stuff was nice, but I kind of agree with what you're saying here, that there's like an element of community and communication that you get between two people when they're in the same room that you really don't get anywhere else. And like you said, you're not throwing a rager. So it's a nice little balance there.
Yeah, no, that's how it all started. But then we met actually at the bungalow.
Yeah, how did we meet?
And we started talking about music, and we started with talking about EDM.
Was it the bungalow or the Victorian?
No, it was the Victorian. You're right.
Victorian.
It was the Victorian. Yeah.
Great little. What is that place when it's not an upscale house party?
I think it's a restaurant. I think they do have service during the day and do like lunch and dinner, and you can even.
Oh, I've been there during the day.
Yeah.
You're right. I thought it might be a hotel or something, but I guess that makes no sense because they wouldn't be able to throw parties there if it was a hotel.
Yeah, I think it was just a house. It was a house that they then converted.
Probably a Victorian house, if I had to guess.
I mean that whole street is really cool.
I do really like that area, like Ocean Park. For any non-LA natives, since we're on the internet, you got your beach cities that are really popular of Santa Monica and Venice, but they both kind of have some slight drawbacks, some trade-offs for being so popular. So there's this like area kind of in the middle called Ocean Park where it's a little bit quieter, a little bit more chill, but still has a lot of good like food and drinks and all that kind of stuff going on there, and still has beaches.
Yeah, and has the waterfront. Waterfront is one of my favorite little beach club during the day situations. I really like that place.
Been there once recently. Interesting time. Good music.
Yeah,
really good music.
They do have great DJs there. And depending on the day, it is also not too sketch. I think the boardwalk, we can all agree, has modulated.
As
a
have
little bit.
Many areas of LA.
A little bit. But we're not going to get too much into this or what that means.
No need to get political.
no need for that at all. But it has modulated. But yeah. So, are you from? Where are you from? You're from the States, or you're from?
Well, I was born in the States, but I'm the only person in my family that was born in the States. So I was born over on the East Coast, but my whole family's from Ukraine. And I moved out over to California, kind of, in search of sunny LA about 6 years ago. I moved out for work, there was like a client that I was working with and they wanted to go full time with me, and I was like, "Oh, your office is on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood?" Like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, like I'm from like I just remember that because I'm from Germany, and whenever I meet somebody in the States that's from Europe, I kind of have to just ask them where, like, because I feel for like I feel for Americans, like, you think of it as like a whole big patch, you know, but there's so many little countries in it. But I feel like over here you kind of just say Europe, and it becomes like this just one big thing. But it's kind of wild if you think about it. Like, you drive through Europe, like how many different languages there are, right? You know, within like, you know, you drive through a country for like 5-6 hours, and then border, and then a whole different culture, a whole different language altogether. Like, I grew up like next to, within 15 minutes of France, Netherlands, and like Luxembourg, you know.
How long ago did you move over to the US?
11 years now.
11 years?
11 and a half or something like that.
Okay. You don't have to dox yourself, but around what age were you when you moved? So I'm asking how old were you when you left Germany?
Oh, when I left?
Yeah.
Right before college.
Right before college?
Yeah.
So you had already, I'm guessing by that point.
I was like 19 or 20, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you had kind of gotten the experience of like the social life in Germany and everything like that
Yeah.
before you even went to.
So like I went out to clubs, I went out to you know, like had my upbringing there. And I learned English actually by watching Gilmore Girls, How I Met Your Mother, and Two and a Half Men. That's how I learned English. Because the school system was like, it was good, you know, but you don't learn like an accent or anything. It was like, we were like, you know, when you come like in high school, you're like, hello, my name is Malte, and I'm from Germany, and I would like to speak English with you. You know, that sort of was like, and then when I realized, oh my God, if I wanted to go to college, I have to step up my game a little bit. There's obviously other Germans like that are insane, that have like barely any accent after being here for that long. But that was sort of my way of like, okay, cool, I can, you know, like, so I started to mimic like the way they talked, and just try to get a little bit of like American English going.
So you said they're like some insane Germans that basically have no accent after like so much time here. What do you think it is that made them get acclimatized so quickly to just like sounding completely natural?
Oh, I think they just started speaking English like a lot sooner. Like either their parents were like not bilingual, but had like with business. Like my family, like they were not really. They were just working, and they weren't really like traveling. But our neighbor was like a representative for like pharmaceutical. They were doing hard in like these step makers or whatever. You know what I mean? Pacemakers, yeah. So he was making those, and that guy was like flying in and out already like in the 90s, and he had such like crazy English, you know, but like, so they were speaking it probably with their kids and stuff. But yeah.
It's actually kind of funny how quickly like being in a business context forces you to pick up being better at a language. Like Russian was technically my first language. It was the first one that I learned in the household, because that's when my parents spoke with me, because very smartly and very rightly they were like, all right, we're going to teach this kid Russian because he's going to learn English and he's going to get really good at it because he lives in America, and this way he's going to have both languages. Worked out really well, minus the part where like as a rebellious teenager I was trying to avoid speaking Russian as much as possible because I wanted to show my parents how much I didn't have to do what they wanted me to do. But my point is, like, my Russian is not that great because I didn't like grow up in a country like speaking it through my teenage years and stuff like that, so my vocabulary never really filled in. But last week I was on a business call with like a prospective client that really wanted to speak Russian. Like, he spoke English, but the whole conversation's context was set in Russian. And like literally my level of Russian probably went up by like 2% just through that like 1 hour call alone, because I was just forced to, like, my brain was forced to operate at a different wavelength, because I was like, okay, there are literally thousands of dollars at stake right now, and if I can speak Russian better, then I can have a better chance at getting money. And my brain was just like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like that thing with like the equations on the whiteboard, that little GIF. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was just like, it just forced me to ramp up. And I'm just imagining like your neighbor was literally constantly probably speaking English for business because they were like flying back and forth, like you said. And that must have just like been crazy good for their progress.
Yeah, no, I believe so. So you were kind of like a little bit of a double O agent there in a sense.
Yeah.
Being able to do it. Let me check here real quick because this is like the first time I'm using this new RE20 here, and I just want to test it out. Everybody's saying, let me just see. We just gotta level this one more time. I think we're pretty solid now.
Do you need me to talk into it while
No, I think it was just this one. I just noticed it was a little low at times. And then how did you get into music, or what was your excitement about that? Did you like start playing an instrument when you were younger, or?
Honestly, I still feel like an imposter when I get asked about playing instruments because I feel like anytime I have like pressure put on me to perform with a piano, I just can't. Like for some reason, I don't hit the keys right. It's like one thing to DJ, like that's kind of easy enough. Yeah. But the point is, I did play violin when I was younger, but I think my love for music, it was not like tied to an instrument. Like even when I used to play video games, I played RuneScape a lot when I was like, you know, in elementary school or middle school or whatever. And I remember just like geeking out over the soundtrack, like to the point where I was like probably 11 years old and I was doing like a violin cover of one of the songs from the RuneScape soundtrack at like a school performance. So I always loved music kind of in whatever shape or form, but my sister got me into like listening to Armin van Buuren and Above and Beyond, like back in the days of Tri-State and like Imagine, like that kind of era, Tiesto, Elements of Life, like 2006, 2007. And dude, that hit me. Like
the energy, the power.
Are we allowed to cuss on the podcast?
It's
like,
I mean, no, I don't know. Oh, wait, let's ask chat. Let's ask chat. Chat.
I mean, like, platform rules.
I mean,
they're fine.
I think, no, on Kick, there's anything goes. So just like, Kick had a very turbulent week where there was an incident in Australia and Kick released a statement. So I think they're currently probably reviewing some of their policies. But as of right now, Kick is most likely the most uninhibitive or unrestrictive platform out there. Like,
is that why you're on it?
Maybe yeah, no, for sure. But no, maybe in part also because there is not a lot of enforcement yet. So if there's copyright strikes or issues, because there have been quite a few on Kick, I think they're very lenient, or they're not really enforcing it. You know, there was like XQC was on it and he streamed a couple days ago like the full Dark Knight Batman movie, and they had to say, okay, like, you know, like, you can't do this anymore, and they had to delete the VOD, but he wasn't like kicked off the platform for it or something, you know, like. But I'm sure like their legal department is like now under a lot of flack from Hollywood.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little aggressive to just like stream a full movie. I guess have a movie night with the subs, whatever.
No, I think Twitch had it. Twitch had this thing where you could be a Prime. If you're a Prime member, you could log in on Twitch, and then streamers could do like a watch party, but all the people that were viewing the stream had to be logged in and had to be a Prime member. So like, you know, it was like they were using their access and their license to watch that on the Prime streaming platform.
So do you think that Twitch was actually paying like royalties to the owners of the media that was being streamed in that scenario? Or do you think that was just like, because people were logged in, it was convenient enough that it couldn't be like publicly seen, so it wouldn't get reported as much?
Oh no, Twitch is owned by Amazon, so that's why it works. You know what I mean?
So Amazon, so it was like a movie that Amazon had rights to or something like that?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
That
so
makes a lot more sense.
in that regard, Amazon is now allowed to give access to all Prime members through that. And then Prime, if Twitch is owned by Amazon, so Amazon is granting Twitch, and then you had to have a Prime account linked to your Twitch account as a user to view it.
I don't know how many years I was on Twitch, and I just didn't make the connection that Twitch Prime was named after Amazon Prime. I think even though I actually bought it once with my Amazon Prime account, it just didn't register that Amazon owned Twitch. That's funny.
No, it did. I didn't know. I think during COVID, I because I was never on Twitch, and then my friend was like, "Oh, it's owned by Amazon." So yeah.
It was called Justin.tv at some point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
a long time ago.
Yeah, and then it was that, and it's we also had Mixer. Remember Mixer? That was for 6 months Windows, or Windows was trying to. What's Windows?
Oh,
Windows,
Microsoft.
Windows. Oh my God, Chad is gonna destroy me here right now for my mistakes. No, but it was Microsoft, and they had this idea, and they put big VC money in it, and Shroud was actually paid an insane amount of money to stream on there, and then later they had to pay him out of the contract, and a penalty of another crazy amount, because they had to close it down because they couldn't take down Twitch. So I don't know how far Kick's gonna get, but we're on Kick, so that means I'm all about it for now. Also Kick, just for new streamers, it just makes it really easy to get discovered. And then also the podcasts are normally going up on YouTube, but why not stream it live?
How does it make it easier to get discovered?
Because there's less for example, if you do live, I've done a couple live DJ streams, and you look in the category on Twitch, live DJ, it's I want to say 120 people in there. On Kick right now, it's maybe 2. So if somebody searches for that, sort of for that category, it's really easy.
Now, if there's only 2 on there, how many views are they actually getting compared to Twitch? I'm assuming it's a lot less.
It's a lot less because the category isn't up. There's now in just chatting, it's kind of crazy what's going on. We have and because all the big streamers are obviously in the just chatting category,
On Kick? Or on Twitch?
No, on Kick. The ones that came over from Twitch. There's they're bringing all these like viewers over, and when they in the just chatting category, all the people that would search for an XQC will also now see these other streamers with lower viewer numbers. So it is actually pretty it's far more easy to get discovered on Kick than on Twitch if you're just into streaming. I stream a bunch of we do DJ streams and Counter-Strike streams just as a little hobby. I love streaming.
It kind of sounds like you have a lot more mental freedom over what you feel comfortable doing, because I feel a lot of people on, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel a lot of people on Instagram trying to do reels or YouTube, they always say pick one topic and just do that one thing, and that's how you grow. Yeah. And I assume that's how people also probably consider Twitch, so it's kind of surprising to me to hear that you're just oh yeah, I can just stream whatever I want, and people are pretty chill with it.
You have to declare if I was trying to do a gaming stream, obviously I haven't been a professional gamer or anything, that wouldn't really work, you know what I mean? And I think it doesn't make sense to do that. But we're kind of just doing I'm just kind of integrating in what I'm already doing. Right, if I'm doing music production that I don't have an NDA under or anything, yeah, we can talk about that in a second. NDAs are real, and you gotta be careful with those. But if I for example on there's productions that we can stream and that we have streamed, or mixes, or we go back into one of the releases that I did and just kind of do that. That's totally fair game, and I would do that anyways, right? So why not put on the camera and then do that?
Have you ever messed up and streamed something that was under NDA?
No.
you don't want to talk about it, even if you did.
No, I don't think so. But I also don't want anyone right now going through all the vaults. And I think That's why like
I'm just messing around.
I stopped doing that on like right now it's like on any future deals I'm kind of like thinking about like just implementing like a new policy and say, hey, like I don't sign NDAs, because it can haunt you in like weird ways in years from now. And it's just, I think it's always a very dangerous idea to do it. So if you can somehow avoid it, I think it's you're well advised to do so.
It's funny because this is somewhere where my work and your work cross over in kind of an unexpected way. Like when I'm doing freelance software work for people and like building them apps and websites, the amount of people that feel the need to have me sign an NDA just to like listen to their idea and their requirements is absolutely absurd. It'll be like somebody that's making like, I'm just going to say something very generic, so it's like obviously not under NDA. They'll be making like a photo sharing app or something like that, and they'll be like, I need you to sign an NDA to talk about it. And like, I used to do this stuff because I used to be like younger and more, I don't want to say desperate, but basically I was more desperate for work at that time, and I was just like, all right, I'll sign the NDA, like whatever, it doesn't matter. But I've also kind of like started thinking about that. I'm like, at some point, like I launch my own apps, so anything with like a non-compete or an NDA in it, it's like I'm not disclosing any kind of proprietary information at any point, but you just kind of start to wonder what is their definition of proprietary information that they don't want to be disclosed, and like how much is it worth potentially putting myself through the headache of like somebody claiming leverage over me by virtue of like me having signed something, and they're like, well, I think that you've violated this, and then they just like make my life hell because of it. Like I honestly wonder about that. And these days I barely sign NDAs because it's kind of like, I understand that in your line of work it's probably a little bit more legitimate to maybe ask for an NDA. Maybe you would disagree and you can clear that up. But in my line of work, it's kind of like, if your idea is, if it's that good that it really needs an NDA around it just for an idea, you should probably be looking way closer to home than like reaching out to a random person on like a freelance marketplace to develop it, first of all. Second of all, you should probably, like, if it's that good of an idea, you should probably have some resources to build it. And third of all, it's almost never that good of an idea.
Yeah.
Like all ideas come down to execution at the end of the day.
No, my take on it is this. I think whenever you enter an agreement with someone, it needs to resemble the relationship of it, right? And if you have a good feeling about that, you understand what your relationship is with them, and you feel like that NDA reflects that, and it's very clear what it's about, that's fine. If somebody's saying, hey, this is for this project, this is for this kind of scope, it needs to be very well defined. A lot of times these NDAs, or I get presented with NDAs that are very broad, where it's almost like a non-circumvention, where it's like also means like, hey, if you introduce me to someone, I can't do business with them, and that sort of thing. So you always have to like read really carefully into them, and at the same time also know that if something goes awry, if somebody wants to take you down or wants to like, pick a fight with you, they will pick a legal fight regardless of whatever it is. That's sort of my you can always like play by the rules and play by the contract, but if somebody just wants to sort of like start a fight, they will. Even if the NDA is like completely waterproof, they just come with a different charge or something, So it's like, I think it's more about like building the relationship with them and saying, hopefully having a clear understanding. And if you don't feel like you're on the same page with them, don't sign a contract, because that leads to issues, like especially if you have something in a contract and somebody has verbally already like sort of has verbally indicated otherwise, that they might, you know what I mean? And then it gets really tricky because you kind of just have what's written and they gave you like something different verbally. So then you got to be really like, all right. If somebody's saying, hey, sign this NDA, but you know what? Don't really worry about it. We can still post pictures together. We can do that. I can be on your podcast, But like,
it sounds a little sketchy.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Then it's weird, but it's just for safety. It's just for this. It's like you gotta be careful with those kind of statements.
Do you, if you're signing an NDA or when you have done in the past, is it like with a big player? Usually, like a big publishing group or big like music company or a big artist, something like that has a lot of resources and a legal team that could mess with you.
Yeah, but also like if I sign the NDA or the ones that I've signed, they're like I know that they're legitimate and they need to happen, and I agree with them.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like that, then it's totally fine. Like I agree with you. Like if you know what I mean, like. I trust you and I have a relationship with you and I totally see where you're coming from and if I was saying something that would be devastating and if I agree on it, I totally sign it because I already this is my opinion that if I would say this would be bad. But if there's something that somebody is trying to say, hey, never disclose that. For example, like never disclose how the, talk about the way I treated you or something. It's like, no, like that's a horrible idea because you're probably going to treat me very poorly and then you're already trying to it's going to be bad, that sort of thing. But if somebody's saying, hey, this is super important that prior to the release, nothing is, I'm like, yeah, totally. I'm on board with that. That's fine. That makes total sense. I can sign that,
Yeah, that little example you gave there, it's a bit like it's a bit messed up. It's like if you have to get ahead of that, probably means there's like some weird history there. Should expect something bad to happen.
Yeah, so it's like, and those is like most of the time when you hear about it in the media or you hear about these conflicts, you could like look at both parties and like, yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. Yeah, things like that, like things that. Yeah, no, let's not talk about it. I was going to talk about some big shoe brands right now and the kind of stuff they were doing, but
we don't need to talk about legal contracts all night.
We don't need to talk.
Is there anything chat wants to ask?
Yeah, let's see what is.
Because I'm fine picking topics out of thin air from what's in the room all day.
What's in the room? No, we can't. That's what I like a lot. Is sort of like. You never know where you end up, and that's like you have to. But if you're doing a podcast, like a lot of people want to like plan topics and stuff. It's like no, you can't. It's like actually gets interesting if it's like a real conversation and not like a clipboard with like interview questions. Oh, you can do a little.
He's gonna go get his clipboard with interview questions.
No. Let's do
the incense.
The incense. Let's start with one.
Okay.
And see how intense it gets.
Yeah, let's do it. Dude, I've been burning so much incense recently.
Yeah, and I don't know what flavor or kind is like. Do you know anything?
What flavor?
No, but no.
Just take a bite.
I have. We used to get these very, I want to say, entry level incense, and I have yet to understand the differences in quality, manufacturer, and like, sort of like what is it? Is there are they all the same, or is there organic ones? Or let's light this one here.
Honestly, no idea.
No idea.
I just went to the Buddhist temple twice.
Just good or bad? I mean,
now I'm a full convert.
Oh, you actually did?
No, I didn't convert. I'm messing around, but I actually did go. Yeah.
Are you into meditation or any sort of like yoga or any sort of that thing?
Yeah, I really love how that stuff is all mainstream now. Because I'm gonna be a total hipster here. I was meditating like 9 years ago. I got into it. Dude, that's like the smoke is gonna go right in my face.
Oh, is it too
I'm
much?
dead.
Okay, wait. Let's.
No, that's cool.
No, this is going. Let's turn it. That's why good that we didn't light both of them.
I think incense magnetizes to me because last night I lit a stick of it.
Wait, why would what it still? Where would it still?
And it literally just out of all directions picked like
maybe
right.
We'll have to get it offset.
It's all good.
We have to get it out of here.
I can deal with it, man. Don't worry about it.
Let's get it out of here.
This one smells pretty good.
Where do we put it?
Just throw it right there. Like here.
We'll do it. Yeah, maybe.
That'll be fine.
I wonder if it's gonna show up on the cam.
I hope so.
Quality of incense, and before that, meditation.
So I don't think I really understood what meditation was. I'm gonna take my shoes off.
Take your shoes off.
I'm gonna put my feet on the couch. I don't think I really understood what meditation was, and I honestly think that a lot of people probably don't fully get it, and I think that like as part of the whole Zen beginner's mind concept, I definitely still have a lot to learn with it. But when I say I meditate, people ask me like, like, oh, that's cool. So you like sit down for 15 minutes and like try to clear your mind of thoughts. And so wait, I want to get your take on that. Like, what is meditation to you? Do you do it?
Yeah, I have different practices. I mean, I do yoga, I do meditation, and I kind of just do mindfulness because I'm very like very hyperactive being, and I found over the years that it does help me a little bit.
So I think we're very similar then.
Yeah, I think that honestly, over the years, I've read books and all sorts of stuff. Over the years, if you want to break it down, yes, it is just to clear your like mind of thoughts, and that's the hard part. Like, however you can achieve this, that's the thing. It's like there's lots of ways. Yoga is good for some people because they like the movement part of it. Me too, because I'm hyperactive, so I get to do movement and breathing at the same time. And yes, that is sort of the thing. But how to arrive? Like, I can't sit still really and meditate, so I kind of just like do like this yoga thing, or sort of like on a mat, but that is in essence what meditation is. And then what the result is that you clear, and then the effect is that you just feel really sort of like you come into the present moment, right? And you kind of just like can let go of your past and say, cool, there's some shit that went wrong, like let's keep going. You like we're here again, you know, kind of like when you have a video and you kind of just like want to skip to where you left off, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of like that angle. I think people really overcomplicate it, because I would say, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a moment where I was kind of like looking in this direction and my face just like relaxed. Like, that was a meditation. I feel that I just was able to let go for like 1 second while you were talking and return to the present moment. And it's still there, but I feel like that was a meditation. I think it's nice that people are getting into like all these different apps and stuff that help guide you through it. And I used to do a lot of guided meditations when I was starting out, but I've found that when it went from like being sort of something that I chased like an outcome from, when I went from the act of chasing outcome to just like having it be part of my daily life that benefits me and centers me throughout the day, like what that coincided with was when I stopped thinking of it as like something that has to be a hardcore practice and just started considering that if I just breathe once or return to the present moment once, like that's a meditation. And the state of mindfulness is that it could just be that you're constantly returning to the present moment, and that the intervals between that just like shrink and get smaller and smaller. I think I used to think that, you know, it had to be like the idea of enlightenment where you just have like no thoughts or worries in your mind. But the more I actually like do it effectively in a way that's effective for me, the more I'm kind of realizing that it's just about like you said, okay, that wasn't the perfect thought or whatever, and I'm just going to throw it away. Like maybe I'm beating myself up over something and I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to kind of throw that away and come back to now and do the best that I can now. That's what it's about for me.
That was very well put. I love that. And being able to do it so fast is an indication for me that you're very far along in this practice. To me, like the mind is sort of like a dog, and you're the dog owner, and you pull it back on the leash. If your dog is very well behaved, it's going to come very fast back, right? But your mind, if it's like very unbehaved, it takes you like 50 minutes. But if you really have your mind under your control, you know, you're like, oh, we're getting right here. And for a long time, I always thought that like our experience as human beings is like, it's all the mind, right? We have some visual input, some audio input, and then it's like the rest is our mind just going like nuts. But there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more that like your subconscious is also capable of.
Can you expand on that idea of how you thought that everything was basically like your whole experience was the mind?
Well, I think because you kind of like when you don't meditate, right? And then you sit in silence, or you go out to dinner alone, or you just sit down somewhere, like you have these like constant thoughts running to your head, and it's like very distracting too. Like
very, very
the mind can be very distracting. Like, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? Do I have to this? Do I have to do laundry later? All this sort of stuff. And if you realize you learn how to meditate, the laundry will still get done. You don't have to think about it. It's like it can be like almost intuitive, like circle of life. You don't have to like over analyze doing the laundry and let your mind sort of like take a lead in that. It's hard for me to explain, but it's like, I think we give the mind like too much that constant chatter, just like too much attention and respect. Yeah. Like,
by the way, that smoke from the incense looks freaking amazing right now. That would be a cool like effect in a music video or something.
Like the wind stopped. The wind stopped and now it's just rising.
I told you, like it was magnetized.
I wonder if it's the air conditioning.
It's probably like a little current that's blowing across the room.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you said, that's something I really used to struggle with. It kind of affected every fiber of my being. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic, but like my interactions with people, I would be so anxious and so caught up in my own thoughts that I would not be able to like do justice to people and my interactions with them, because like my head would kind of be somewhere else. And I think that it got really exacerbated. Do you need to adjust something, or are you just
No. I was just checking if chat was saying anything.
Okay, no, I was about to like go off on a tangent. I wanted to make sure.
I'm here. No, I just wanted to check. We hadn't checked with chat for a second, but we're good.
It's good. So what I was getting at is it used to really affect my relationships, just the inability to be in the present moment, and it affected like, I mean, there was stuff like I would be having like imaginary conversations in my head with people and like having imaginary fights in my head with people. And it sounds kind of like weird and messed up to say it out loud, but I kind of assume that probably like 5 out of 10 people, if they thought about, their past week, they've probably had something similar happen to them where they've like, there's something that you disagree with someone on or whatever. And you're just like you just start projecting it out in your mind and you like take it a little bit like farther in your mind. But this stuff was like almost a constant feature for me, where I was like overthinking about something and what am I gonna do? I've never worn a suit before, and it's like when I'm like 17 or something, and I'm going to this like prom or homecoming or something, and what are people gonna think? And even going into like my 20s, it would just be like I'm worried that I won't be able to like do this task for work, and I would just like take things out to infinity in my mind, and it's honestly absurd to me just to think about like how much energy was wasted on nothing. Like these things aren't real.
Yeah.
Like the laundry is not real when you're not next to it.
Or like negotiating with someone, or like exactly that, having like a disagreement with anyone, and the outcome is always different. It is never how you have predicted it. So it's like there's really no point, because the outcome is 100% going to be different if you try to predict how a conversation goes. And actually, I struggle with that too, and it made me like a really bad life sort of negotiator, because I always had the offer sort of like set in my head, and I couldn't adjust. If they offered me something better on the call, like I would still just tell them about my offer, and I was like, then sometimes
wait, they would offer you more, and you would still just say
not more, but the terms were different. But I have great help right now in like business advisors that I have like give me good coaching.
That is also something that I've recently discovered. Maybe we can go into that in a little bit, but I was curious because we're talking about how we had these similar patterns of overthinking, and I have my theories, but did you play a lot of video games growing up, and specifically did you play a lot of RPGs?
Yeah. Like I think I was part addicted to like Counter-Strike at some point, and I struggled with it because I was like taking a lot from like my musical, what I could have spent all this time practicing an instrument, like, and I would like play like well into the night, even on like school nights, like sometimes 5-6 a.m. My parents had to shut off the router, and we had a team, like we had an international team.
I had my dad block my internet access for being addicted to RuneScape.
No, I was addicted to Counter-Strike for sure. We had this team. There was like this Austrian guy who had and we had like all these, and we treated it like kind of like a sport, but in the end it was just a video game, but it was taking up too much. Yeah.
In Counter-Strike, was there this concept of like, because I haven't played any Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
In the games that I played, like mostly the RPGs, there was this concept of once you get a certain level, or once you like go to a certain area, like you've unlocked it. Did CS:GO or Counter Strike have that concept?
No, I mean, like it's a CS:GO isn't like an RPG. It's like a FPS. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm like got my categories wrong, but no, there it was more like a sport in a sense that you wanted to sharpen your skills. So it's like sort of like there were like things that you could work on, right? Same with like soccer, right? You could work on your dribbling, you could work on your passes, you could work on your penalties. You could do all these things, and there was like same thing. You could work on your defensive placement. You could work on. So there were like a lot of and team play too. Like what scenarios? So we would like spend. I think out of all the video games, this is actually like was not too bad because you learned a lot. Like you learned to communicate with 4 other guys, and you would play scenarios through. Like, okay, if this happens, what do we do? How do we adjust? And that is sort of what Counter Strike is really is still like very appealing to me. Not so much the like video game or the graphics aspect or anything. It's just like the communication and getting that common goal is a lot of fun if it works out. And it can also be very frustrating if it doesn't work out.
Well, it actually sounds like a pretty positive experience overall, because like you're basically learning like team dynamics and communication and kind of like struggling through things with people. What I didn't like about basically what I'm saying is that you probably got something positive from it, although I'm sure that staying up that late wasn't good.
No, I mean
but
it's like obviously wasted tons of time doing that.
I mean, I could see that. But really, like, this is totally a me thing, so I won't spend too much time talking about it. But I kind of realized that through playing RPGs, like in an RPG, like in RuneScape, you level up your attack or something, and like once you hit like level 40, you can use like a rune sword or something. Once you hit like level 70, you can use like dragon swords or whatever. So I think that having that like ingrained in my mind from when I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and like playing RPGs so much as like my main thing, I think that actually really messed with my head as far as like understanding how skill acquisition works in the real world. Because I went on like a self-improvement binge like 2 years ago, and I was kind of like, I started going to the gym and stuff, and I realized now, like looking back on it, the way that I looked at like adding weight to my like lifts and stuff like that, and the way that I looked at like all the different areas that I wanted to improve, I looked at it as like a video game. And I kind of realize now that a lot of things in my life, I was kind of expecting them to work like a video game. Like your career, you get to a certain level of like income, and then it's never going to drop. And like you can only like go up. Like once you unlock something, you have it. And I was just like, I was kind of thinking about this earlier today, so that's why it came up. Like I was reflecting on how strange it is that pattern got ingrained in my mind, and how it's only like at the age of 28 recently, like within the past 8 months, that I've been able to like really properly break through that and understand that sometimes you kind of like you're at a place, you're at a level, but if you want to go up from it, you have to actually like detach from it or lose your attachment to it and kind of allow yourself to like float back a little bit and shore up your foundations, and then you can like start to stack up in a different way and get to a new level. And that's really abstract, so like I'll give a concrete example. It's like if you're working like a 9 to 5 job and you hit a certain level with your salary, there's probably going to be a point where it's going to be really hard for you to scale that up past a certain point. And you might have to take a hit to kind of like lose some of your income in the short term in order to relearn like, some sort of like entrepreneurship or some other way to like sell your skills, like, how you can like produce for people as a producer, where you're getting paid in a way that's like more related to how much value you're bringing somebody, rather than like the fact that you're working 40 hours a week for them and you have like this many years of experience. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
Okay.
with the company too is like the issue with that in a sense is that you're valued on their scale, like sort of what you can do for them, and then obviously that same job might not even be in the like anywhere else. You know, it's possible. Like, you know, and for like, I mean, there's standardized things, right? If you you know, there's standardized jobs that you know, but in the music industry, for example, like if you develop like a certain skill set, meaning like you have a little bit of audio engineering in it, you a little bit a producer, you can write a little bit, you know, like, and then you found like somebody to work with that needed exactly the other opposite, like key lock situation. It's exactly that. Then when you start again, like you were like, oh wow, this is a whole new requirement. If I want to work for this person now, they might not even need any of those skills that I do there, but they need a lot more from this. And that can be quite frustrating at times. Especially, I mean, it's sort of like also like producing artists, same thing. Like they need some artists might not even need your expertise in writing the songs. They have it all together, but they need something else that is much more important, you know, like just keeping them on schedule or something. And other artists are like super on schedule. They like have it all together by the minute, but they are not that in the creative department or the songwriting department. They're not that like up to speed, and you got to help them that way. But they have their promo, like all their marketing, and they're sort of like that thing figured out, but like their music isn't there where it's like really that appealing, you know. So yeah, I mean it's a struggle leveling up, but I feel the same way. Like you always think, like you ideally always think, oh my, like everything I'm doing should be like built on each other, so it's not wasted. But a lot of times you learn a bunch of skills that then you will never need in your life again. It's kind of sad. Like I learned how to like record on large format consoles. Maybe that, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's gonna come in handy. But I never know. Yeah. I haven't used it in like 5-6 years, and it's just like, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of sad, but it's also like you don't really need it. It's kind of like, yeah, everything is. It's sort of like technology sometimes gets obsolete, you know.
I feel like super esoteric stuff like that is sort of like the humidifier that you forget that you have, and then that one time you have a really bad sinus infection, you're just like, you dig it out of the closet when you haven't used it for a year, and you're like, holy shit, I'm so glad that I had this thing lying around, because you feel so much better.
Yeah, or like, you know, I have these, like, I found like these 3 window ACs in the garage the other day, and I was like, oh, maybe we can use that for somewhere else. Chad just I got it. Chad just said that Counter-Strike is not an RPG. Yeah, I got it straight now. RPG is role-playing game, and FPS is first-person shooter. And as a video gamer, how could I have messed that up?
Chat was just ripping you for
why are you not reading? Why are you not reading chat? I haven't been reading. Chad is complaining that I haven't been reading chat. But I was so like, we were so on this like eye to eye level here that
we're having a conversation.
We're having a conversation.
You can be a part of it.
And
what are they saying?
No, there was just a couple of those remarks. I'll leave it on here. We'll leave it right. I'll have it. I'll put it on a little stand here. That's really what I should be doing. Yeah, that's the next move. New addition to the podcast set. We're gonna put a little stand here for this iPad, and then it will be there the whole time, so no more complaints about me not reading chat.
You need a little arm.
We need an arm
right in front of
also, like, talking about video games, we're also going to play video games later tonight, right here. And soon enough, chat, I want to make a quick announcement. I ordered this video capture card. No shit. Check this out. I ordered a video capture card. We're going to split the yellow, the white, the red, and then we're going to actually feed it into the stream on a second cam on a little like slide in, and then you guys can actually have a very nice view of what's going on in the game. I thought that was pretty advanced because it's easy to do with like an HDMI or like a PlayStation, but this was actually, I had to research. I was like, is this possible? Are we going to be able to upscale this? What FPS will this have?
You had to dig up forum threads from like 2004.
Yeah, stuff like that. But I found it.
The first streamer ever.
I found it on Amazon, and it's coming. But that's cool. Sort of like the closer. I always close out with rapid fire questions and Mario.
No FIFA, huh?
We could. I just don't like this. It was just like this is just better. I need to have a different. There's probably some kind of FIFA for the Nintendo.
FIFA 86.
I love FIFA. I like used to. Okay, we have a question. We'll finish this, and then we have a question from chat. I love FIFA, and I used to like literally like beat up my brother, and I would play after high school. It was like just fond memories of like going crazy, and we experienced like a couple bugs.
Just 7-8
nothing.
Like
there was like a bug in FIFA 2006 or something where you could hit a certain combination, and the goalie would actually throw it was an uncontested goal. You couldn't do anything about it. Like throw it across the field. Like it was like a bug, and you could like, and we always like, and then we would fight, say this, no, you have to now, and I was like, okay, cool, let me give you a free goal now. It was like crazy. I love the new FIFA too. We should have a stream on it in the chairs over there. I don't know how we'd integrate it here. I think the podcast needs to be a little bit more trolly, but we should have a gaming stream. Okay, we have some questions. I'm running off.
I want to hear the questions. What do we got?
What is your favorite coding language? What do you think about Rust? Is that what he's talking about? Is Rust a coding language, or
Rust is a language. I could never get into Rust. I just could not wrap my mind around like how the memory management worked, and I had no reason to get into it. I like Swift. Like that's what I use for the majority of my work. Do you know anything about coding languages?
I know Python, the name.
Python.
No, I'm really the name. No, dude, like oh my god, I wish I should have. I need to take one of these like free Coursera classes. I got to learn.
Python is going to be the one if you do that, because there's so much random courseware for it out on the internet. But yeah, to answer the question, I actually like Swift. Like it's not just that. There's a reason why I work in it. I've worked in a lot of languages, but I always just bias myself towards anything that's related to writing in Swift because it's nice. I'm gonna go out on a big limb and say I'm actually a fan of ARC. If you know what that means, you might love me or hate me.
Chat saying Swift is lame, but okay, keep going.
Chat can say Swift is lame. I don't care.
That's fine. I'm just.
Chat wants me to just say like C, like raw dog it with C, and just don't use any modern languages.
Chat, what? Yeah.
What's Chat's favorite language? Is it Rust?
What is Chat's favorite language? And then, Objective C is better than Swift.
Now I know they're trolling.
Okay, we got the troll in here. Troll in here. Somebody else is asking, what are your favorite books, or do you have one favorite book that's a good one?
Whoa, that is a good one. I've read like 55 books in the past 18 months, so there's so many options that it makes that a hard question to answer. The one that, I mean, this is kind of like a very common answer, but the one that kicked it all off for me was Atomic Habits. Have you read that?
I've heard of it. I feel like I have it.
You have it, but you haven't
read it. Yeah, I have a whole, like, I don't know why. I have a whole, somebody must have left it here, or somebody, like, or I had it from a previous apartment. I have a whole box with all sorts of, like, Atomic Habit. Like, you know, you would name me, like, 5 other, like, titles in that category. I was like, yeah, they're also in that box. From, like, you know, all these different things. There's obviously the Peterson thing in there.
12 Rules for Life?
Yeah, that thing in there.
That was
is Atomic Habits.
That was a long read, I'll say that.
Yeah.
That book got a little crazy. There were parts of it where I was like, I don't know if I just put it down for like 4 months because I was like, this is so dense and like super biblical, and I was just like, this is interesting. But yeah, Atomic Habits kind of shifted my mindset. Because before that, I didn't really actually, this is going to sound kind of weird if you don't think this way, but like, I didn't actually think that I was able to get good at stuff outside of what I was already good at before I read Atomic Habits. Like, I thought, like, I was bad at talking to girls, and I legitimately thought that I was going to be like awkward in front of girls my whole life. And like, Atomic Habits opened my eyes, and like stuff, you know, like not being a weightlifter. Atomic Habits kind of opened my eyes to just like, you can kind of just like change your habits and your identity and what you're able to do. You just kind of got to do it. And then I think that Malcolm Gladwell's books No. Oh no, there was a really, really good book that I read because I used to be like a really staunch liberal. Like I was completely in that culture, and these days I'm a lot more like moderate. And one of the books that opened my mind and kind of forced me to like think about the fact that like Republicans are not all like automatically the devil was The Righteous Mind by, I think it's like Maxwell Haidt, Haidt. Because I read the book and it just like explained all these people that I thought were my enemy in a way where I could understand how the same ways that I formed my opinions based on like what influences I had had in my life through like childhood and adolescence and like young adulthood, in the same way like other people formed their opinions, not through actually being like that different of a person than me, but just through like being built on a different foundation. And I think that that was a really good thing for me to kind of go down that road of like being a little bit more accepting of people overall and people who had different opinions from me. Because I used to be a real like, not politically, but like in all facets of life, I was like, if you don't agree with me, like I'm right and you're wrong. Like that's how I used to kind of be. And I would not respect people with different opinions. I would not try to learn from them. And I don't regret things as such, but like that's probably one of the biggest, if I could change something, that would probably be one of the things that I would change first. Just that.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, I'm similar in that way. I used to like be very like, this is my opinion, this is the law. Chat saying, I don't know what that means. We saw James Clear. I don't know. And it's Jonathan Haidt, not Maxwell.
Jonathan, yeah. Your chat's well read.
I don't know what's going on. Also, we have somebody. How old are you both? We're not going to answer any age-related questions. That's out. Get out of here. We're old enough.
I'm older than 12.
We're older than 12. We are older than 12. Get out of here with these weird questions. You guys just want to know if we're able to buy cigarettes at the store, and we are not. So
I wish I could.
Yeah, I wish I could. This incense. What is happening with this incense here?
Well, it kind of burns off, like part of it burns and turns to ash, and then at some point, like the weight of it actually causes it to fall off. Yeah.
It's like, I wonder how it's coming up on the. It's just too.
Let's ask chat. Like, can you guys see the incense smoke?
Can you guys see?
I'm looking at it, and I really doubt it.
What's my favorite book? What's my favorite book? Favorite book?
What books do you read usually?
I mean, I read sort of like from right now. I'm reading like this like what's the title of it? I'm reading songwriting, better writing lyrics, and I got the live music method right there. That's a really good one from Tom Jackson. I'm reading like a bunch right now. I'm reading a bunch of like new music industry books, sort of like the Donald S. Passman. That's a really good one. When it comes to novels or any like really like, I think it's an all-time classic to me. You guys can whatever you want to say. Harry Potter. I mean, that's a masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece of a book. Like, I don't think, and the Lord of the Rings stuff too. I mean, they're up there. Like, I don't know, both really good.
Got nothing on Aragon. I'm just kidding. Before chat slaughters me.
But no, but those like, I mean, I want to reread them like very soon. They're really like, the Harry Potter books were really well written, and the whole story was like really nice. Lord of the Rings though too. Chat's roasting. What's going on here, chat?
They're probably roasting that I said Aragon.
IKEA catalog. The IKEA catalog. Oh, IKEA catalog is good. And I have an IKEA close to me. I like the IKEA. I also like.
Wait, there's an IKEA near here?
Yeah. I also have to make a confession. Okay. I will make a confession right now. Sometimes, I either go on this hike that's close by, or I just drive there and just walk in and eat their like meatball lunch with the little jam thing and the little potatoes, just because. It's like it's so good. You can just walk. Sometimes it's fast food, but it's good. Like It's nice. I'm actually like thinking about doing it tomorrow now.
I think you should.
Just like at noon, no one's in IKEA. It's like 50 minutes from here. You drive there. There's no one in there. You have the whole thing to yourself, and you have these big windows, and you can do whatever. And it's
You
clean.
just go and sit in the beds and jump on the mattresses.
I go straight up. No, I go straight up the not the elevator. The what do you call them? The rolling stair. What do you call these?
Escalators.
Escalators. Oh, I just realized. Wow. After 11 years. No, now I know what an escalator. I thought an escalator and an elevator was the same thing. And then they would call them like these stairs. You would call them like electric or whatever it is. So that's an escalator always. You know, that is in German Rolltreppe. Rolltreppe. Which means rolling staircase or whatever. Rolling staircase. Rolltreppe.
Very, very literal as always.
Yeah, very literal. Rolltreppe. So escalator. Okay, got it. Anyway, so you go up the escalators. You don't. You just go straight, take a right, and there's the cafeteria. And what I don't like these like soda, like when you go to like a place they give you like, okay, here's your free drink, right, in the paper cup, and it's like soda. At IKEA, they have these little seltzers, this cranberry seltzer thing that actually, it's probably just sugar too, but it feels very like, not healthy, but also not bad. You know?
Is it the lingonberry stuff?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes,
Dude,
exactly.
Classic.
Yes.
I feel like IKEA is like I might be way off on this, but I feel like it's kind of like the European version of the Costco food court.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you got those $1 ice cream cones, or with inflation now, I don't know, probably like $6 or something. But back in the day, they were $1. You'd have all the little Swedish meatballs and the lingonberry stuff.
Everyone does. Okay, chat, go home. I don't think that a lot of people go into the IKEA just to get the food. I don't buy it.
You just attract the audience that does. No,
I don't buy it. I mean, maybe some.
Do a poll. Can you do a poll on this platform?
I don't think it's advanced enough yet.
No. Well, type a 1 in chat if you do it, and then type a 2 in chat if you don't do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's do that. They're saying you're not Jessica Day from New Girl. Okay. Who is Jessica Day? I gotta Google after.
I know New Girl. I don't understand the joke. They might have to explain that.
Yeah, New Girl. I've seen like 1 or 2 episodes. But I don't really. Is New Girl, isn't this like these 2 girls that live in Brooklyn or whatever and then go on these adventures?
No, I thought there's this one girl and she's like, she moves in with a bunch of dudes and it's like a whole like not that kind of escapade. It's like a funny little show where they're all like goofing off and stuff. Does your computer need updates?
Oh, does my computer need updates?
I'm just looking at the screen. Something popped up.
What it says. Let me see.
I can take over chat. What are they saying? We got somebody that sent like 41s in a message, and then we got another person that sent like 9 of them or 8 of them, and there's no 2s.
There's no 2s.
So technically, yeah, 2 out of 2 people do it. Everyone does it on this sample size.
So there's 2. Okay. Yes, they're roommates. Okay, so that's it. Let's talk about I want to get your take on that. The nightlife in Los Angeles and being able to like in communities where like, you know, because you mentioned that you've done the DJ thing too, or like have produced music.
I've only DJed on Twitch. I haven't DJed like in person. But I've been to a lot of shows of like trance and EDM and house artists. Yeah.
I just think like right now it's the community feels like we have a lot of artists that come from out of town. You know, it's like big artists that come through. They play the you know, our classic venues in LA. But I feel like right now, yeah, there is like this underground like warehouse scene in DTLA, and you know there is sort of like in Santa Monica. You know, you have some of these like at the Victorian. You have some kind of like open format DJs, but they're more like these. Most of them like have just graduated USC, they're DJ, and then they bring their friends, and then the owner says, hey, you know, you can play here. I'm like, really, like it's hard to find like the whole in West Hollywood on the Strip. like where the Capitol Records and stuff. They like there used to be like some stuff at Davy Wayne's. I think they do it, but a lot of these like places, Dirty Laundry had like really good music, or No Vacancy. They had these DJs. Lately they haven't really been coming through, and they're not even doing the DJ thing there anymore. They kind of just doing like little shows, but like the late night used to be really cool down there. So I don't know, where do you go to see like good DJs in LA?
I think the last time I was at Dirty Laundry, it was like a year ago, maybe more. And I remember this is the state of DJing there. There was like one DJ in the main room kind of playing they're actually playing some like interesting like kind of minimal or like tech house. But in like the third room, I just walked in and there was like electronic music playing and there was nobody at the decks. I just walked up and started like playing with the filters and stuff. So that was the state of Dirty Laundry.
You mean that little back room when you go around the corner?
Yeah, like there's the one like where there's the main club music because people are trying to like dance and stuff, and it's whatever vibe gets the most people in the door. And then there's like kind of the second room when you go through, and there's like the really big the long like L bar in it, and that was playing like oldies and like classic hits and stuff. And then there's that third room, the back one that you're talking about, and there was like progressive trance or something going on in there, and I was just like, what? This is awesome. I've never like walked into I would expect that, to answer your question, to like see like more like proper artists, basically like people that kind of are more like worldwide touring. I would never expect to go to like Dirty Laundry for something like that. I would probably go like Exchange and Academy and like Avalon are the usual suspects for like actual touring DJs for me. Roxy
has some really good DJs too.
What kind?
Have you been to the Roxy? I mean, all sorts of stuff. There were just like big, like sort of not bigger DJs, but like I think that like Diplo the other day doing some Jamaican set like with a Jamaican artist. It was underground. It's like they kind of like, there's a lot of underground stuff that happens there, like where people just pop in and out. It's sort of unannounced, but it's kind of known in the scene. So they have been kind of like fostering that a little bit, and and it's like weird for them to do that because they are sort of like a bigger venue, but.
Well, it's a little bit like big brands turning to like TikTok and Gen Z to promote their products like through those influencer channels. Like when brands comment on stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? I feel like it's kind of similar because like these big venues probably maxed out like their traditional marketing channels, and they probably realize that like you can only get so much juice from the fruit, and when you squeeze it harder, it doesn't like push more juice out of it, or like they're getting blood from a stone if they tried to like keep expanding their traditional marketing efforts. So like they probably were just like, well, if we go underground, we can attract a slightly different kind of crowd. They could probably they might have started on like off nights with the underground stuff and tried to like just see who would come through, and that way they're not losing anything because they're not losing like a peak night. But when you went, was it like on a Wednesday or a Thursday, or like when Diplo was there doing the underground thing, or was it on like a Saturday or a Friday?
No, it was like a Friday or Saturday.
Friday. Well, it's also Diplo, to be fair.
But he wasn't on the bill. He just like popped in, but was like, there's just like, that whole area. It's weird. It's so spread out too. Like we don't really have a centralized thing. It's really hard. Like, you don't really have like a music community like Nashville or New York City or a nightlife life that where it's like connected, and it's rough to see good music where you could also go and just have a drink, right? So you would either have to have a ticket. It's like a venue that tickets, and it does like sort of like the event, but it's really rough to find. Because most of these places like Victoria or whatever, they don't care about the music, right? It's really tough. You need to have somebody that owns an establishment like that needs to have a personal interest or be in the sort of culture. In other cities, you find that more, that a bar/club owner is like also really into the shit and like builds personal relationship with the artist and isn't just interested in like them playing like random format shit. Especially like, I used to live in Brooklyn for a summer, and it was like really cool. And out there, it's like, all of the staff and stuff that were heavily involved and had opinion on like music and stuff. Like, I mean, talk to the waiters at like the Victorian. Oh, do you like this? Like, dude, I can't. They're playing like this open format, like, you know, Jason Derulo kind of stuff. I love Jason. Shout out to Jason Derulo. I love it. But it's like, if I, you know, sort of like want to go and see some house music, like I don't want to hear like Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus next to like an Avicii levels, next to, you know, Jason Derulo, next to David Guetta, you know, like the old, like just like, it's just because those guys are not putting cool stuff into their sets, you know. And like the do it to it, it's like it was cool like 2 years ago.
I'll just say this: opinions are bad for business. I think it's very LA that everybody's trying to like do more, get more, and get to the next level. And it almost doesn't surprise me that like LA of all places is gonna have a higher concentration of those kinds of like clubs where they're like, okay, cool, yeah. Like, you know, we got like a sort of niche in the door and we have some like name brand recognition and stuff. Now what's going to get us to the next level of selling tickets or like letting people in and having them pay a cover charge or something? Well, it's like, well, maybe we can get like 100 people in the door if we're playing house, but maybe we can get 1,000 if we're like doing some house but sprinkling in an open format. Yeah, because the house people might still come, but then somebody walking by outside is going to hear like do it to it, and they're just like, you know, they're have pretty mainstream taste, and they're like, oh, that's sick, let's go in there and see what's up. Boom, like $30 from 3 people.
Yeah, I just think I just answered my own question. I think it's because it's like more this area is like, it's still like really just like a college bar situation, you know.
You're talking about the Victorian specifically?
No, this whole area. We have a lot of these like bars with like rooftops, and it's like that sort of thing. I think it's like,
dude, the rooftop thing. Have you ever thought about like? Have you ever theorized about like the psychological reasons why people love rooftops so much? Like, do you ever think about this kind of stuff?
I don't know. Like, me personally, I just love it. You can oversee a bunch of stuff. It's like outside, but it's like in an elevated thing. I think it's sick. And then if I mean, I love roof. Like, who does? I have never met anyone who was like, oh, like I really hate rooftop bars. Like, how could you hate a rooftop bar?
Nobody does, I guess, unless you're afraid of heights. But whenever something's like that universally applicable, it always kind of makes me wonder, like, nobody, if it's not something that's like ingrained into the human psyche to want, you're never gonna find that like almost 100% of people like it. Does that make sense? Like, when I see that 100% of people like something, I'm thinking, okay, this has to be like something that's hardwired into like our instincts to want. And this is the best that I've been able to come up with. I think that being on a rooftop, first of all, like soothes you because you're kind of outdoors and you have some open air. And second of all, there's like nice views, like you said. You can kind of like overlook the city and stuff like that. But I think that whether people necessarily recognize how much this plays into it or not, I think that a lot of going out for a good amount of people kind of centers around like, I have a very like dark view on this. I think that going out for a lot of people kind of centers around like being able to get people to make you the drinks and kind of like feeling like you're in a position of power and exclusivity because you're able to enjoy your time more so than other people. And a lot of people would probably kind of challenge that and think that I'm off base on it. But I think that if you kind of like let me run with it, I think rooftops allow you to take that even one step further, because like everyone has a little bit of a dark side to their psyche. I think rooftops allow you to take that one step further, and now you are literally physically above like the majority of people in the city. And like you're kind of in an elevated space where your status is not only mentally up there, but like also physically up there. You're like, this is like an oversimplification, but you're just like, I'm so cool. Like, I'm above everything. It could be a total load of crap, but I always look for those like, you know, those like status and power explanations for stuff.
No, I can totally see where you're coming from with that. I feel great on a rooftop bar, and yeah, you have that sort of feeling. I don't really have that thing that I'm like better, that I don't think about other people now, how they in relation to me. But but I can see how somebody might. Some people are definitely. That's fine. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. It just feels great to be on a rooftop bar.
Very freeing, open air. I like it.
Where's the nearest rooftop bar in the valley? Like, we don't have rooftop bars.
Just go on
we don't have high buildings.
The Mulholland Scenic Overlook and open a bar there.
we don't have high buildings.
Why is that? Is that just because like everything is, the culture is different, or is it like more earthquake prone or zoning or something?
If I knew that, I'm like,
if I knew that, I'd be rich.
What do I know? It's just like, yeah, I think it's just like, that's just not like, the valley is just the workhorse for the rest of valley. It's kind of the human power supply chain. Like if you drive down the 4 or 5 in the morning, you see all these workers and everyone heading into town. Like, that's sort of what the valley is built on. There was not like, we have like really nice neighborhoods here too, but we don't really have, up in the valley, we don't have like Glendale has like, center and like some high rise. It's weird. Like, why don't we have high rise in the valley? We don't. It's really weird, actually, now that I think about it. Like, think about this whole strip. Like, think about like starting from North Hollywood a little bit, but then think about going up Burbank, and then San Fernando, like, Van Nuys, Toluca, Northridge. Like, there's not it's no high rise really in that whole area. We have a couple malls with like a Target on it and some like parking structures, but there's not a single like focused area where we have like, you know what I mean?
That's kind of weird. Like when I hear that you don't really have any high rises besides this like commercial, like super big commercial operations, it kind of makes my brain think that it's probably something related to the laws. Because like,
maybe
what else
because it's a desert here or earthquake or so. I don't know. Maybe there's something different. We have to.
There's just so much stuff that makes no sense, but like because like the laws are a certain way, it puts enough friction that like people don't do it. And I feel like that's one of those things where like, if the zoning laws were set up a certain way where it's like kind of harder, like you just like take that out of the reach of like property developers or something. I don't know. It's interesting though. It's just really suspicious to me that you're saying that like only Target and stuff are like making, high rises.
We got to look into that.
Does chat know?
Chad doesn't know.
Chad hasn't said anything.
Chad doesn't know. We got to look into that.
Does anybody in chat not like rooftop bars?
I don't know. Chat, no. High rise. Oh my god, look, the topics we've covered today from 2. Crazy.
Is there anything else you had written on your index card of interview questions?
No, not really.
Well, you wanted to talk about AI.
We could, we should talk. We should talk about AI. I like that. And what it means. I mean,
I feel like we're on that point of like there was the wave and there was kind of the crest of it, and now we're like in that point where like it's not that hype anymore in the public's eye, because like you only really get one paradigm shift per paradigm shift. So like ChatGPT has been getting better steadily, but like there's nothing that's been like ChatGPT coming out for the first time. Have you felt like that too? Because it felt like everyone was talking about it, and now it kind of just feels like it's just part of the mainstream now.
I feel like, no, I think it's completely untapped. I think we're just still in like the very early stages of what's...
I totally agree, by the way.
What's going on. I think ChatGPT is was just a public phenomenon where the broad masses and mainstream audience was now getting a little taste of AI, but there's so many pockets. Music industry, like Isotope has been starting to integrate AI in like video editing, and it's happening in screenwriting, like in a lot of areas. And also there's also like AI developers that have whole systems that we like currently in beta that are like unbelievable. And I've gotten to experience some of it where I'm like, wow, this is like easily 10 times as powerful as ChatGPT. The way it responds to prompts, the way it is able to to scale it, the like, and that was just for like that was just for generating text. Like I can't even imagine like what you can do, like, in terms of like programming or automate processes in programming, like automation of processes. I think is going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, I music industry too, I can foresee like soon enough we're going to have like you'll open up your DAW, you open up your Ableton, and you say, Ableton, create me a template for a vocal session that has this, like, or format all these 16 tracks that are going to be imported into a color-coded format, and give me country presets on all different things. Give me pop presets. And then it might not do the work for you, but it's going to load up your chain. It's going to load up your thing. It's going to name it. It's going to be able to, like, scan the audio source, say that's an acoustic guitar, that's a piano, give it that label, call it that. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. Like, just wait. It's going to be nutty,
Yeah, I think I would agree. I was kind of more so talking about the hype around it, but I also kind of feel like I have this thing with AI. I have two things with AI. One is that I think that people still understate like the value of the human using the AI. I think that the more powerful AI get, like, here's an example. People are writing content using AI. If everyone's writing content using AI, then the person that's either using the most unique AI that writes it a little bit better than all the other ones, or the person that's best able to make use of the AIs by doing unique things himself, is going to be the one that wins. Because it sounds awesome to be able to write a bunch of like, articles or something with AI right off the rip when nobody else is doing that, when everybody's like sitting there and taking like 2 hours to write an article or something. But once everybody's doing it, it's like, that's now the new minimum. Like, congratulations, you can like have ChatGPT write you an article. Great, everyone else can. So now you still have to evolve past that. Like, I think something similar, well, I think it'll change music quite fundamentally once generative AI is at a good state for making songs. I think that I'm actually really like excited to see the potential for vocalists to start to release their own music with some more velocity, because they're able to like put generative AI beats behind it that fit their intended style. But I really think that what it's going to become is like, if there's a bunch of AI music flooding the market, it's going to do the exact same thing, where it's going to become about the person that's still able to tell the best story. It's going to be about the person that's best able to make use of the different like AI tools and human elements and blend everything together. Just like I'm assuming when, like VSTs came into play, everybody was probably just like, oh my God, it's going to be so easy for everyone to make music now because you could just like download software. And it still kind of probably ended up being more about who's able to like create an identity around it and create like the uniqueness and the story and kind of sell that story and have people relate to it. Like, those are the people that I think popped off the most. And I think that there's probably going to be an initial wave of like, the landscape getting flooded with a bunch of AI generated songs, but ultimately, as with anything, I think it'll still come down to the person behind the camera, the person telling the story, the person that's fusing everything together in their own unique way, like, because that's what art is.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that humans will always gravitate towards like something that's real, and I think a lot of artists get discouraged because like, a lot of people that are just, or like musicians that have more popularity and talent, like kind of got the cut. But stick into your own lane. I think there's always like, especially now than ever, you can create your own momentum. And it's, yes, there will be a lot of trashy AI music coming soon. Well, because you can make it very fast and it can like serve a lot of meme purposes. It already does. But there's always room for genuine music and everything. I think we also need to see a shift in EDM. Like, pretty soon EDM has kind of stalled out and is getting like so unmusical in a sense.
Unmusical how?
Just in terms of like a lot of like DJs kind of won out that are not really, they were just doing like 4-bar loops and, you know, very like, you know, think about like Avicii back in the day. It was like very through composed. Sometimes even like sections wouldn't even occur again in a song, you know, stuff like that, where it's like we're really involved. We got some of the Z stuff. I mean, and then there's a lot of stuff where it's just like the tech house. I think like some of the recent tech house hits kind of destroyed it because they're very, very repetitive, and it's a very monotone, like almost like a rap vocal on it a lot of times. Going back to Do It To It, there's not a lot of harmony in it, and I love that song, you know, like don't get me wrong, it's a banger. I love like clubbing to it, but that just, now everything that sounded remotely to it was like getting in, and we really haven't like had any like melodic, like progressive house and that kind of thing with like really good songs, you know, like not just like sort of the you know, like the occasional like, you know, David Guetta thing that has like a vocal on it, but like really good songs. Like when was the last time we had like really good written songs on it? I think Sasha Sloan did like a few really nice things, and like
Zed's remix of John Summit, Where You Are, was actually like one of my favorite songs from the past year. Have you heard it?
No. Gotta check it out.
Yeah, you definitely should check it out. I don't feel that my grasp of music theory is all that good to be like talking about when something is like advanced or interesting. I feel like I have a more basic grasp of music theory, but
right now.
I think
what is it?
John Summit, Where You Are,
and then the
Zed remix. I think it has really, really interesting
Zed
notes in it.
Just saw Zed's Dead the other day. It was great. So now I'm always getting confused with Zed's Dead and Zed. We could also actually feed it through the stream. I don't know how
That's
we
what
are.
I thought you were gonna do.
Copyright situation, but let me just get a little overview as I'm prepping our Mario.
He completely changed the chords from the original track. Like I don't even know if it's in the same root note. I think he might have messed with the mode or something.
Oh, it's like a really slow vibe.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's so
That's classic Zed. Yeah, oh my god, that's good.
The little clock ticking.
That sound is just so... What I love about this sound, it's so clean and it's so pleasing, and it really makes sure that like all, you know, everything harshness, 16K, like just the samples that he chose is like, it's just so saucy. And yes, it is saucy. A very like polished sound. It's like, no, it's like a very polished sound, and it's like a very, not very, it's not organic, you know, it's like very, very polished, but it's cool, you know, and that's what he stands for. It's like very sort of like very polished gel sound, and I love it, you know.
Yeah, everything he's ever made has sounded like very clean to me.
Yeah, even clean. Yeah,
even when there's like a dirty bass line, like Shave It Up or something,
yeah.
I'm just like, that is like the cleanest dirty bass line I've ever heard.
I think on Clarity and that stuff, he was a little. There was like some cool indie stuff that was like, sort of like reverb stuff that was really cool. But yeah.
I think he's a shining example of how to like have a very consistent vibe. First of all, how to have one hit that just blows you like out of the park, and then how to have like a consistent vibe. Like that little clock ticking sound effect is so him. But he's made so much different stuff, and yet when you hear it, like you kind of know.
Yeah, no, he has a signature sound.
Yeah. But he's made some like really different stuff, man. Like,
I mean, I also love all his like collaborations with like Zed and stuff. Okay, now we got the rapid fire questions. I've been trying to keep the podcast to like a digestible level. We had we got complaints. We had a podcast that was like 3 hours long, and people were like, "No, this is too long." So I'm trying to cap it at 90 minutes. It kind of always works out that way. Now we just gotta. This is the first time freehanding the Mario section, so we gotta think here for a second. Maybe we want to put a mic up, maybe on a stand, maybe not. Normally I just had them come here. I need a little like these arm. I need these arm. How do you call them? The ones that extend on the table.
Just kind of like hold it like this. And
no, I think we could just put it. Or we just put. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do it. Let's see.
We could just play with one hand.
Can
You
you?
know, like I don't play Mario Kart.
No, we should be fine. We
All
just
right.
put 'em- I think if we put it, I'll put like.
You know, I could probably lay it down
Yeah,
like
lay it
right
down
here.
exactly. Just lay that.
Right,
Yeah, that
and
is
then-
that's gonna work.
And then if I get a little bit closer to it.
What?
So you said rapid fire. Is that like rapid fire questions, or are we
Yeah,
just
it's
playing?
gonna be rapid fire questions. Do you want to go 100? Do you want to go?
I don't know what any of this means.
So this is the speed. The 50 is kind of chill. The 100. Let's do the 100. The 100 is like
All
a
right.
good medium. It's just how fast your car can go.
Kinopio? Why is Toad called Kinopio?
Oh, because it's Japanese. It's a Japanese.
All right, I'm gonna be Donkey Kong.
Okay, who am I gonna be? I'll be.
I was such a troll when I would play like Super Smash Bros. So I'd just pick Donkey Kong and just keep doing that attack that
I
hits
need
the
to get the
ground.
Super Smash. That will be also really fun. This is just like everybody can do Which one? Everybody can do some Mario. Which one should we do?
Flower Cup looks pretty tight.
Let's do that. No, everybody can do like it's so like.
What are the controls?
Everybody. Oh, you press A. You press A to accelerate.
Okay.
And then you can press the under one here is to give you the under one is to use the whatever the power up, and then here you can use the side buttons here left and right to just like jump around the corner to get a little bit more traction.
The side buttons, like.
Yeah, just try the side button. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
keep hitting these cars.
I just always find that.
You mean like the triggers?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, cool.
I just always find that everybody, like people that even have never played a video game, they will be able to figure out a little bit of Mario Kart. You know, if we're doing the Smash Brothers, it might get a little trickier. And it's so random. Like I have people like that played it for the first time and they just beat you because the beauty about this old Mario Kart is the algorithm is like really so random that like random shit can always happen at the last second.
Hey,
It's
so
not really skill based. Like there's no
I have this mushroom. How do I use it?
under your controller.
Oh, cool. So I could just like
Yeah.
use it to get me forward. That is dope.
Just such a throwback. Like this is like
The graphics on it.
the graphics on it. I got
pretty
this.
intense.
I got this Disney.
Oh shit! No. I actually made a turn.
The
I
Disney
actually made a tight
TV.
squeeze. Oh my god! I just managed to miss all the power ups.
Let's see if chat is something. We're gonna start with the.
Chat is probably like we can't hear anything because you're like 2 feet away from the mic.
We gotta figure out. Maybe I'll have like
Social distancing.
clip-on mics. I have these clip-on mics. I don't know what we use for that. And we just gotta. But they tend to be a little noisy at times.
I don't like how. Oh, here we go. I don't like how most of the power ups in this are like
shit, I'm
they're like
completely
disempowering.
Completely in last place right now.
Yeah, you actually went up a place while you were just like grinding on the wall at one point,
Oh shit.
and then you went down to 8th.
So pizza or pasta?
Pizza or pasta? Pizza, for sure. God, I'm so bad at this.
Pizza.
What
Is your favorite? What is your favorite? Oh, oh my god, you're from the East Coast. Okay. They have that really good pizza over there.
This is the thing, I stopped eating wheat. So,
That's good.
I like the gluten-free pizzas better than like the pastas. Holy shit, I just got 3 red shells. But I was like addicted to pasta for a while. So I think it was my OG.
I mean, yeah, generally, like, I love all this stuff, but I try, like, if I want to cut, like, right now I gotta, like, lose a little bit of weight, and it's just, like, if you cut out the carbs so fast, but your body is, like, just craving it, and I just, like, you gotta be firm with it,
I kind of have the opposite problem where it's, like, impossible for me to put on any weight, so I just need to, like, eat as much food as possible.
Oh, really?
But then I start to, like, burden my digestive system. Like, my stomach starts working overtime, and then it starts to be like really shitty. So I find it like impossible to put on weight, but I never have to worry about pasta cravings, so bad and good.
trying to get into like homemade pasta right now.
You mean like cutting it yourself with some like pasta machine?
Yeah, I mean it's just like you do some egg yolks, you do some flour, and then you kind of just mix it up, and then you can make your own linguine and stuff like that. It's just very messy because you're gonna have that flour everywhere.
Can you get multiple power-ups? Is there a point in me going for more if I'm already holding one?
No, you can't. Like they're not like you have to just use it up and then.
Wait, I thought that was a power-up. Damn it. And I just had a truck barrel into me from behind. I just went from like 2nd to 7th in the space of 5 seconds.
Oh my god. We're doing slow fire question, not rapid fire question.
Was that a question from chat, like pizza or pasta?
Let me see.
I've just completely bottled it.
Could you see yourself ever living in like Europe again?
Well, I never
not
actually
again,
lived
but
in
not
Europe.
again, but like.
I used to be like obsessed with the idea of living in Europe, but I think it's
Just
because
for a
I just
little
didn't
bit,
like
yeah.
my life in America that much, back when I was like 10 years younger. These days, man, I think Europe, it would be cool to visit, but I have trouble envisioning myself there long term. It's a little different.
It is different, very much so.
I think I've just gotten more at peace with like being in America, and there's a lot of stuff here too.
We just gotta revolutionize the nightlife in Los Angeles.
I find myself caring about the nightlife less and less by the month.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of sad. I just like, it's like, why does it have to be so?
Oh no. Okay, if you go
It's
out
just
of
because
bounds
we
on
gotta
this one,
drive so far. I think that's the issue. It's always like the driving or like long Ubers.
Yeah, dude, this map is harder.
Yeah, this is hard. I don't even know what is going on here.
Yeah, man, the distances really kind of kill it in a bad way. Even with like the metro in New York, it was just so much. What just happened? Although like riding the subway there is kind of like sus, it was still so much better just to have that option when the Uber was like $50.
Yeah, I mean over there, I feel personally that in New York City, the cabs are a lot cheaper than the Ubers.
Yeah, when I started going out and stuff, Uber already existed. So I kind of like, in a sense, I kind of like grew up with Uber.
Yeah. I remember they had, when I went to college, they had like an Uber pass, and all the rides were $0. So I feel like it was just like all that VC money that were just like, and then eventually they stopped it. But if you had the Uber pass within a certain, like when it just came out, it was in the beta or whatever, within a certain mile radius, it was like free or literally like just like 10, 20 cents. It was absolutely insane.
That's insanity. I cannot have been.
And
like,
they had like
profiting
these
on that.
referral codes and stuff. It was like, it's absolutely crazy.
Come on. Give me like a mushroom. It keeps giving me blue shells. I feel like I'm like learning to drift on the fly.
Yeah, you gotta use them. Oops.
Yeah, it's kind of like the little situation I was describing earlier, where you have to like let off the gas a little bit in order to actually go through the turn.
Are you into Formula One at all?
No, but my friend has this like VR setup with like Gran Turismo or something, and it is so trippy, dude. It is extremely trippy. I played it and I was straight up just like not having a good time.
No, it's hard, you know.
Fucking just the power-ups. And you just passed me.
Oh, now we finally got a little juice. You have any new music? You sent me that one progressive the one house track. Do you have anything planned?
Man, the focus is on business right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to find time, hard to find energy for music, actually. Yeah, it's been tough. But
soon enough, you have AI, so you can just cut the vocal and then have AI
there you
make
go.
the whole. Okay, this is the final. This is the final. This is our. We'll see. You got the first one. I got the second. Now it's like. Oh. My back, guys. I need to do my back exercises. What's your take on low back? How do you get your back in? If you sit a lot, what's your remedy? Or your prevention method? Just working out a lot, just doing a lot of back lifts and stuff?
Actually, no. That I really got into working out and doing like a lot of back exercises, and it kind of felt good for a while, but it didn't help the problem. It actually kind of made it worse in some ways. I think if you do a lot of like oh shit, that was really bad.
Oh, yeah, me too. We both get caught.
I did a lot of like pressing movements, and I just didn't realize like how bad I just did it again. I didn't realize how bad it was for when you have that kind of problem with your back and you're sitting a lot. Like, it just causes your spine to compress more. So, I mean, it was really nice that I was getting more active, and I felt better just from that alone.
Yeah.
But I think I really should have been doing a lot more like hanging on the bar before and after the session.
Oh, yeah.
And what else? Like, you can kind of like go on a yoga ball and like let your upper back decompress.
Yeah.
A lot of low back for me was related to my hips not having the proper, like they had a really big imbalance. And I had to like start basically hiking and like doing stationary bike and stuff like that in order to like naturally teach my body to be in proper alignment better. So that helped a lot. And then like one thing my friend told me earlier today was like doing the yoga bridge pose is the polar opposite. It's like the exact counteraction of sitting all day. Because what your body does when you're sitting, come on, there you go. What your body does when you're sitting is you're like kind of turning into a C like this, and then the back bridge is like turning into a C the other way.
I love the back bridge. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm like. Ugh.
We're dead last. 7th and 8th.
I'm going into. Oh, I thought it was okay. Why can't I go backwards? Okay, I'm really.
Wait, mine says reverse too. What's going on?
This is. I think this is my worst performance ever out of all the.
I'm your lucky charm.
It was the car. The car wasn't tuned right. You know, we had some tire issues here. We couldn't find the grip. Today was really hard on track. Couldn't really find the grip.
Are you into that kind of racing stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I grew up with that.
Just up and down the Autobahn.
Yeah, no. My dad was like did a lot of 24-hour races, and we grew up next to the Nürburgring, which is a big racetrack, and he would like do like with my uncle, he would do like 24-hour actually like competitive racing, and and yeah.
Oh come on.
That's sort of what I grew up around.
Oh, that shocks you. Okay.
Oh, dude, I'm toast. I'm getting toasted.
I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I was just being a dick to you the whole time.
Okay, last one. What's your favorite Avicii song? Personal favorite.
I'm just gonna say Levels, man.
Ah, yes.
It's so like that was the track.
Yeah.
It's probably everyone's answer, but that was the fucking track. Well, what a great performance. All the way in 7th.
Yeah, I'm like...
Yeah, man, I listened to Levels yesterday. I blasted it for the streets of Hollywood. You gotta just do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Educate the kids that are growing up thinking that's like a TikTok song or something.
It was pretty revolutionary when it came out. It was crazy.
I remember that it was like in 2011 or something, and I just remember my friend being like, dude, you gotta hear this song. And I remember he was showing me the music video for it, And the part where it's like, first of all, the whole video was weird, and I was like, what is going on? And then the part with the sample where it's like, oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. I was just like not feeling that part when I first heard it.
James. That's an Etta James sample. That's. Oh.
See how deep my knowledge of music is.
Yeah, that felt good. Soon enough, we have the full integration today on the track. It was a little hard for me. Dennis had great performance there. Wait, I had the Mario. You had the
A resounding. What did I get the first, like 6th, 4th, and 7th or something?
Yeah, but it's like it is you know.
The AI is too advanced.
No, but that's what I love about Mario Kart. It's like it's not too competitive. It's just a cool little fun thing you do, and you do it once in a while. I can't do it longer than what we just did, you know. But it's like that's the perfect. It's like a little nice, little video game snack.
A snack. It's kind of like me coming back to like old video games I used to play, and I'm just like so full of hope, and then I play it for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Oh, alrighty, man.
That it?
What
one last question from chat, maybe?
Yeah.
Make it a hard hitter.
Let's see. Chat is saying, what's your favorite animal? I like that. That's a great closer. What's your favorite animal?
Ravens. Not the football team.
The bird?
The bird.
Yeah.
Crows and ravens, but they said one animal. But yeah, I just like them.
I have this I have a friend that's also German, and he likes to say Rabenbutter, which means raven butter, and it's like this random thing that he likes to say, and I think like that metaphor, imagining that is like, it's either gross or it's like, I don't really get it. It's weird. He says raven butter.
Is there some more context to this? Like, why does he say
raven butter? You know, just if something is like good, it's like raven butter. It's like it is raven butter.
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal, sea animal, dolphin. Land animal, lion.
He's got them by category.
Yeah,
lion is a good one.
No, I love surfing, and sometimes in Malibu out in the morning, you're like out there 6:30, and you have this pod of dolphins swimming through, and it's like being so close to them. I once went like swimming with them in Arizona. That was really nice. But wild dolphins, the way they, like, not trained dolphins, the way they interact with you, like, they don't, you know, they're not gonna come up to you and like do this, but it's like you both acknowledge, they can feel your presence and you can feel theirs. It's like meeting someone on the street, and they're kind of just like, they're passing by, and it feels like you're being acknowledged by them. Like, it feels like they like understand that you're there, you know. Opposed to like sometimes when you see it in the water, right? Because it's a mammal. When a fish or a shark or something, it's just like so. It's like a reptile in a sense that doesn't. You know what I mean? It's a different feeling to me. Like if you like. It's
really interesting. Like you're seeing someone on the street.
Or stingrays, whatever. Stingrays.
Do they give you a little nod? The dolphins. They give you a little like wink.
No, they don't give a wink, but they just know that you're like, they swim by you, and sometimes they even a little bit on the wave, and they will just kind of kick out.
So you can kind of tell by their like behavior pattern, like the way that they move. It's like they've acknowledged that you're there. They're not getting too close to you, but they're like kind of moving around you.
Yeah, and they're also not like, they're just, it's like totally clear, like they're not come up to you, like you're not their prey. They're really just like, okay, this is another life form, and they're super like socially intelligent. The way they move in these pods, you know, the formations they hold and stuff. It's like dolphins are just like absolutely fascinating to me.
They're like your peers.
Yeah.
They don't see you as above or below, but they're like not that chill with you.
And it's like weird how dolphins are never like, you know, kill like orcas can be, but like regular dolphins have never been like hostile to humans in any way.
Never? There hasn't been one dolphin that like bit somebody's leg or something?
Well, let's do the last Google search here.
There has to be.
Where's my phone? We're gonna Google that, and then might even get shut out. I need to get a new streaming PC, but this one is just doing fine for now. Dolphin attack. I don't think so. It feels already so bad to Google this. Dolphin attacked.
I wonder if their teeth are like pretty sharp.
Oh, okay. Here's a BBC article that says, while dolphins are not usually hostile towards humans, What is it?
Yeah, those teeth look slightly scary.
Oh, those
Actually,
were like. Apparently,
They look
those
sharp.
felt like those dolphins there in Japan felt like it was stressful to swim besides the humans. So, well, what do I know? Apparently there was some hostility in Japan, but not with the dolphins that I have encountered here in Southern California. So, that's all good. So, what's next? What's coming up? Maybe new music soon. We gotta find a show to watch. We have to go to see a house show, and then we should book a show.
Yeah, might as well
Play
just
some tunes.
back to back. Is that what B2B stands for? Back to back. B to B, like in the context of DJ set.
Yeah. It's traditionally it was like you kind of play like 2 or 4 tracks, and then the next DJ mixes in.
Yeah.
Nowadays it has been a little weird where back to back. A lot of people confuse. Like it's normally you back to back in the same set, meaning like you play 2 to 4 tracks. Then the next DJ mixes in. You kind of just are both. And then now it got a little convoluted over the years with like festivals where back to back sometimes also can mean that they're just like playing like straight after each other.
You mean like one track and one track, or you mean
No,
like
an hour set or 30-minute set, and then the next set. Sort of like.
But they're both on stage for each other's like set, and they're like kind of hanging out together, or
not really. I mean,
that's weird.
That is not the traditional thing, but I've seen that. Like I've seen it where it's like, this is not back to back. What are you talking about? They're just playing like a set, and then the next DJ plays a set. You don't understand what that means. So for the viewers at home, back to back means they have to both be on stage and they're rotating in and out like 2 to 4 songs. Next DJ comes in and takes over the mix. Yeah.
Yeah, man. We gotta get a show booked in or do a stream or something. I'll be sitting here and cranking on my apps. If anyone in chat needs a website or an app made, hit me up.
Yeah, we'll put the link in and your Instagram, and then people can just click on it. Maybe soon enough we're gonna, if I have the funds for it, we'll make the Malta Experience app. People can just like log on to an app, like my own app. You can access the podcast, the streams, the music, the blog posts. You can access it all in one place. Wouldn't that be amazing? But that's music of the future. For right now, we're burning the midnight oil, and we're out here burning incense. And oh no, today this wasn't even that late, dude. It wasn't even
late for me.
Oh, it's late for you. No, the last, like I think one of the last last episodes we called burn the midnight oil because we went on at 1 a.m. and like or like 12:30, and that person had
You went on or you finished? Like
no, we went on. Shout out to Nora. She had to fly out to Tennessee the next day, and her flight was at 4, and we were like, oh, like, can we cram this episode in? And we did it, and it was wonderful. It was magical. But I'm glad we got the slot today. I know I need to get on your schedule. Get up. It seems like you're getting up early, and you're doing. I need to like really adhere to that.
I got that, like, everybody hates me for preaching this, everybody that I know, but I got that, like, ring, the aura, I don't know how it's pronounced.
I used to have one of those.
The thing is, when I got it, I just started seeing, like, I already wanted to fix my sleep, and I was close enough to it, but once I just, like, had it on my finger, and I was, like, checking it every morning, and just looking and, like, watching my sleep score go up as I, like, did better habits, like, relaxing closer to bedtime, like not working closer to bedtime, and like not eating close to bedtime, and kind of like, doing stuff that made me a little bit more chilled out, like taking a magnesium bath or something. I just watched it like keep going up and up and up, and it was just like, started at like the 70s, and then it started getting to the 80s, and like now I'm hitting 90s sometimes. And that was like the last piece of the puzzle for me, where I was just like, it was the visual thing. It was like literally like being graded on it every night. And like when I did better, I saw that it was better. And then over time, I started to feel better. So I highly recommend that.
Hell yeah.
If you got one laying around, just grab it.
I got it. Hopefully it's still working, but that's a great idea. I had one, and I kind of like, I need to get back into it.
You just got to not beat yourself up when you have like those nights when you have a 57 on the sleep score.
Exactly. Those are the last two things. Don't beat yourself up, and remember, don't do anything you wouldn't do twice. We still don't have a closer for this podcast. but we have these little things. I appreciate you guys. The next show is gonna be with Matt Destin, who's like an old indie rocker, or like I didn't say that. He's an indie rocker, and we're gonna talk about his ventures, and like he's doing a lot of estate sales around Los Angeles, and it's really sick. And that one's coming on Sunday. Episode can be streamed right now and is gonna be on YouTube in a few hours. Yeah, pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
No, we don't have to. We can do. Check this out. Even again. It's post-COVID. We can do bumps. We can do that. I mean,
Hit me.
Oh yeah.
That was
horrible
the
memory. That we don't want to do that ever again.
In the world.
But now we're out of it. COVID is over. COVID is officially
we're chill again.
done. I'm calling it. I'm saying it like that. Over and out.
Have a good night, chat.
This was Brittany.